Mr. Sudeep Kunamal is the head of human resource for the BFSI vertical at Tata Consultancy Services. He did his master's in human resource management and postgraduate diploma in international business and strategy from the University of Amsterdam. Mr. Sudeep has been with TCS for the past 24 years and continues to help shape the company's people-centric goals and strategies.
Good morning. Make some noise. Yes, that's wonderful. Great to be here. Thank you, MMA, for this opportunity. It's wonderful to always be part of the event and then interact with a great audience like you. Thank you for taking time to be here with us today. So, goal setting and how do you charter your journey of a career that you're going to start, right? It's not an easy one. With the change that's happening, nothing is predictable. So you don't really can put a goal out there, right? It is what it is. So we're going to talk about it. But before we start, I just want to, take a quick feel from all of you, right? All of you, because you're in the second year, right? Because when the previous speaker asked, not many of you are still in the second year. And only one I saw putting up your hand where you've got a job, right? And so I'm sure, but just want to ask how many of you have done your engineering before your MBA? Yeah, good. So that's a good 60–70% of you have done your engineering. Okay, and how many of you picked up engineering because you didn't want to take a technical career? All of you okay, but you want to just complement your technical engineering that you did? Yeah, I only saw one hand. That's good. That's a very positive sign. Okay, so I just want you to very quickly respond to this survey. It's on Mentimeter. If you have a mobile phone, you can just scan it. Right? It's a simple question which asks you what are the factors that is important for you to decide an organization that you choose. Right? Just to get a feel of what it is. Easiest way is to just double click and put it in an order, read the 8 options, and then based on what you feel is most important is in the top and the least and the last. It's up. Just give you 2 minutes only, it does not take much. You're done? Easy? Just you're done, just raise your hand. It's easier, then I can just go to the results. You got it, right? Loading, it's taking time. Or maybe too many mobile phones on this network here. Have you able to get in? Okay, good. The feedback is coming in. Fantastic. Yeah, that's more it. Okay, you can see the interesting change between second and third. See, that's the point exactly I wanted to talk, because most of the places where I talk to students, right, there is obviously a lot of hunger, and there is this whole conflict that we have between work-life balance and being successful, right? And I maybe focus in the next 5 minutes to really address because it's a very important one, and especially with a lot of things that's happening recently. See, what is very important, and we had a speaker, all of you are going to have a very long career, right? Life expectancies are increasing, though, and thus his career today, traditionally 60 years was a retirement age. But people are at their peak even at 60 years. So maybe even you can work till 70 because of the health, medical, various things. So at wherever you are, 23, 24, you easily have another 40, 45 years of career ahead of you. Right? So that's, and the era that's going to see super speed of change. Right? When I started my career 30 years ago, internet was not very pervasive. And today when I go and talk to my team, I need to talk about Gen AI, right? What is large language models and various things. And I'm not an engineer. Right? That's a fact of it. And I'm only dread and excited about what is that going to happen to all of you. Right? And how is it going to shape? So what is very, very critical in my experience is, you heard Nathan talking about running marathons. Like I've run few full marathons, 42 kilometers. Never look at about just completing that 42. It's the process of going back, getting up in the morning, 5 o'clock, having a friends group, running, right? And when you practice, you typically run 2-3 hours. That's like watching 3 episodes in your favorite, right, Netflix or Amazon thing, right? And how you prioritize what you do. But staying disciplined, enjoying the process, and making a difference, and making something better every day is what is going to help and what is going to enjoy. And as you do this, right, the outcomes will be brilliant, smooth, very, very beautiful, that each of you will enjoy. That is a very critical element, because today, in an organization that I work, right, it's a lot of teamwork. And work-life balance today is a very critical part of generation, and I'm not going to talk about it, and you can see that coming up. First on hierarchy, it's brilliant. But work lives can be very comfortable, working from home, working less hours, part of it. It can be still all that. You can work from home, or you can work from a location of your choice, or work less hours. Perfect. But what you do during the time is extremely important. For example, right, we always choose to say, a lot of my friends say, Aage dukaan, you know, understand Hindi, right? Aage dukaan, piche makan, that's the mindset you wanted to do. Right? But if I have to tell my own example, I had a great privilege of working in many cities across the world. Right? So I studied from Madurai, I've worked in Chennai, then I had worked in Mumbai, I worked in US, I worked in Europe, I worked in APAC, and today if you really look at it, that experience has been just fantastic. Right? And whenever an opportunity has come, you just pick it up. It's very, very critical to be able to do that, because that sort of helps you grow. And the most important in my company, like I work for TCS, and we have 600,000 employees. In the last 3-4 years, we have hired almost 50% of our workforce. And the biggest challenge that we have is to get a lot of people to come to office. Whenever I speak to them, what is important is my own experience. I learned a lot of things by observing people around me. And when you don't come to offices, right, you don't get to see these people. Second, when you're working in a team, you only interact as part of your daily interactions with a certain set of people. But, and today you heard our speakers talking about it, networks, doing things beyond what you normally do in a day, are those differentiators which helps you be effective. So whenever you pick and want to do a job, always look for, because you're early part of your career, right? And most important is use this opportunity to be where your team and the extended team are, and you learn from observing others, you seek mentorship, and you also contribute not just in what you do, but what you can help others, and that is in learning opportunities. This is a very, very critical thing. So that sort of fits you for the next role. So please, so the key thing is when you look for a long-term goal, some of these things, foundation, so that you make step by step, your next decisions are much more well-informed, and there are enablers to be able to do that. So the critical piece that you talked about, work-life balance, is important, but what is very important to be creating a community and being in people, around people, and that means you have to travel, be in offices or in locations where your larger extended team works. This is very, very important. You be a startup, then you go to a place where there is an incubator and you interact with people. So be in places, that's the great important thing that you do, just like you do in all your colleges and where you learn from your professors and your peers. The second thing we talk about is technology. Because even I hear a lot of people in my organization who typically are engineers. But then when I interact, I come back and they say, sir, you have joined a technology company, but I don't want to do coding. Sounds familiar? Yeah? Yes. See, but I can tell you, never shy away from technology. It is super, super important. A person like me who's an HR professional leverages extensive amount of technology to be able to do things better, faster, and to be able to even personalize things to each of my associate or colleague to make it much more sharper. That's the expectation, right? All of us have. We want to be hyper-personalized. And you cannot do this, you can't scale this unless you leverage technology. Right, so I was telling, just last month, I was in a 2 weeks Gen AI session. Learning agility is very critical. And now that I have a computer science background, but it's still, you will have to keep learning. And never shy away from technology, because there is no, I think, function or a role where technology will not be able to be an enabler for you. So never shy away. It may be difficult, you may not like it, but please embrace it and get it done. And I can tell today, those people who have great understanding of the domain or whatever you specialize in with the technology combination are truly the high performers and the differentiators. So wherever you do a project, try to use that extensively and see how you can make that difference using that. So I heard one of my speakers just saying that, right? See, Gen AI is not going to replace our jobs. Trust me, it will not. But what will happen is someone who knows to use Gen AI effectively will definitely replace our jobs. It's better for us to be that person and embrace that very effectively. Right? To the foundation of that is the learning agility that, again, our speaker talked about, so I'm just going to reinforce, but that's the critical thing to be able to get you across constantly. Okay, the other one that I want to talk about, so I talked about the work-life balance, the learning agility, I'm keeping it very brief. Third one is very critical. How many of you want to have a global career or want to have, or have an American dream or want to settle down overseas, want to get a PR in Australia, Canada? How many of you? Okay, and again, I'll tell you this with my experience. I know a good 60% of them didn't want to, and they obviously, which means I feel all of you have a great hope to continue to work in India and contribute to the country. That's a great option. See, always these travel across, because when I worked for TCS and ID, we send a lot of people globally on deputation, right? They learn and they come back, right? So what would be my suggestion and what I see is never get into the trap of wanting to permanently live in a country. As all of us know, there are various immigration laws and then various regulations that keep changing in and do that. If you get a great opportunity, you're on the right track, you're enjoying your role, you're seeing career progressions, you're able to make impact, continue, no problem. But sometimes what I see a lot majority today, people stay just to do the live, but compromising on their career. Right? Just because I need to be a green card, or just maybe my PR is on progress, I will continue to be there just to hold on that I spend the 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You're doing a biggest, maybe you like the country, you like the quality of life, you like the people around there, but then maybe you're compromising on what you could do better elsewhere, where you have flexibility to move, take up and do things. So never be stalled by a dream to be a part of it. Make your decision is yours, but make it open, and as you travel to different parts of the world, and then you come back, it will be a great opportunity. So nation building is a beautiful area to contribute, especially the growth opportunities you heard the speakers talking about. Phenomenal amount of opportunity that we have, right? And be able to do that. So that's the third piece, right? Don't just get with a dream of being overseas. Travel across, work for great companies across, but whenever it stalls and that's just because you want to stabilize, right? Don't put your that ask or that priority to get settled over your role and what you can contribute, right? That's a part of the other critical piece. And the last and the most important one is in any role that you're going to be able to do, right? While you have a journey and you have a goal to get to where you are, continue on that role, but don't just get defined based on that role. I'll just give you an example of myself, right? Very early in my career, I was just 3 years in the industry. I was working for a manufacturing company in Manali, you know, where it is close, where we have a lot of petrochemical industries, right? And we set up this plant. It was a foreign collaboration. And then we had our chief minister, Mr. Kalinga Karunanidhi, who was to come and inaugurate it. And I was in the HR department, right? And then I had this great privilege because I had to coordinate, and the managing director said, okay, 3 years, but you still coordinate this overall trip, get the clearances from all the various departments, because there's a huge protocol on safety, compliance, everything that they check before the chief minister comes and inaugurates, right? And obviously a lot of investments, there was a tight budget that was done, and there was restriction that you have to keep your budgets within these for the inaugurations. So I used to then go to the secretariat, interact with the principal secretary of the chief minister with a lot of coordination, right? And he did advise me that these are the basic things, make sure this is what the chief minister looks for and get it done. And then I was working to get that thing, and there was one specific ask that after the event, put up a specific event venue and make it available with all these seatings and done, right? It may be used, it not be used. So then I talked to my managing director at the point of time, said, this is a specific ask. My managing director was not very happy because it was a little more of additional expenses. But I believe that was important because it came from a very respectful person and who understands and has been part of him for many events. So was setting up the whole event, but I still, though my managing director said no, but I still went ahead and did it. And he came and he was very unhappy with me. Very unhappy. Event happened. It was such that the chief minister stayed back and he wanted to have a high tea and a networking with the leaders. And this venue sort of fell in place perfect. So then planned, there was another 30 minutes of additional time that the managing director and the leaders had to interact with the chief minister. Meeting went. My managing director calls me, said, I was wrong. What you did was right. I now forget that, because sometimes if you believe certain things and you go, irrespective of what it is, you do it as long as you know you're doing it right for the organization, right for the role. Super important. And you're all going to get this opportunity. And you're just going to say, yes, sir, yes, madam. No, that's not what we are here, and especially all of you MBA, right? You're not here for that. So that is the very, very important part of it. You will get these opportunities. Bring that uniqueness in you, bring that judgment in you, and make that call. And you will have to make these calls very, very frequently. And that's what will give you the courage to make you're making the right decision, right? And you will fail. It's okay. But you will continue to build on it, and your confidence builds to take tougher and bolder decisions as you progress. right? So these are the few things. So thanks for listening. Again, a few summarizing. Don't get too complacent with work-life balance and try to be in the comfort of your home. Venture out, get across, enjoy the process because you have 45 years or even more career ahead, right? Critical. Learning agility is fundamental, foundational to be able to. Don't get stuck by a dream of wanting to settle in a host company. Be open to, you use this opportunity, but exploit to only do better and grow faster. And there'll be a lot of instances where you have to make the call, make that call. If you are convinced, and then you will be proving right. So these are a few things from my life lessons. Thank you very much, and then maybe later we'll take it for questions. Thank you.